Oh, welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we make some sense out of the nonsense. We talked last night about your thinking, really, and your actions, and are they going together? You know, as we look at what's going on around us, and again, I'm videoing this, and I don't really know what specifically is going around us for the night that this is going to be released, but as you look around, you know, it's our theology. It's the way that we see God and the way that we apply the things of God, right? The way that we study God, that's going to help get us through things, right? So the way that you study, the way that you learn, and then the way that you apply is what's going to help you navigate through where we are in life. There's no doubt that the world is in turmoil, right? It was that way before wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and financial stuff and economic things and famine and pestilence and plague and all these things, right? All of these things have been a part of our world from the very beginning of sin, right? All of this stuff was set into motion. And so again, how you view that is important, right? If you think that God exists just to constantly, right, be putting out fires, right? Well, then that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to look at situations and you're going to think, well, I don't have to worry about this. God will take care of it, right? If you're somebody who thinks that God is kind of outside looking in and hands off of everything, well, then as things happen, you don't have much hope, right? Is God really going to intervene? No, he just kind of lets you go throughout your day, and whatever happens, right? If you're somewhere in the middle, right, of those two things, then you're going to act upon those things. And again, most of us are somewhere in the middle of those things. Most of us have this belief that God, right, will allow us to have and experience the consequences of the things that we do. But when he needs to, when he determines he wants to, right, he is going to step in those moments, and he is going to show mercy, and he's going to show grace and compassion and all those things. Not because he has to, but because it's who he is. He wants to do that for us, right? God has the ability to look at us and say, you're getting what you deserve. So I want to look tonight for just a minute at that theology, right? The theology says that the wages of sin is death. Now, again, sin, right, is determined by God. God determines what sin is, right? Sin by definition is acts against God. He's determined that these things are important, right? These things are non-negotiable. These things he cannot be in the presence of. And then we commit those things and we sin against God, and there's consequences. What happens is every time you do that, right, you create a block between you and God, right? There's distance between you and God. You lay a block of a wall. Now again, the first sin, the second sin, the third sin, how many blocks are you laying on? You may not even bother you, right? It doesn't bother you because you can still see over and you can still see God. But what it does is it affects access to God, right? You don't have the same access when a block wall starts being laid in front of you. And God says that. God says, hey, sin is going to hinder your prayers. You're not going to be as effective anymore in your prayers. So God has said, I want to make a way to take care of that. But you and I need to understand the wages of sin is death. We cannot get to God, right? You're like, well, I can walk around the wall. No, like each block, right, puts something in between you and God that doesn't allow you to get access to God. You can still see him, right, but it hinders your access. Now, the cool thing is that the second that we understand that we've sinned against God and we repent, right? We cry out to God, the wall gets smashed. Poof, it's gone. Right? That's amazing. That's what Jesus did. He came so that he could be a wall smasher. That's what he does. He smashes the wall. So every time I sin, I create a wall, right, that comes up between me and God. It hinders my relationship with God. But every time I repent, right, I smash the wall down through Jesus. He takes care of us, right? So before we go any further, that's what I need you to chew on, right? Are there walls in your life? There's a wall in my life that we have allowed, right, to come up because of sin. We can still see God. We can still go to church. We can hear about God. We can sing about God. But you and I know in our heart that there's a distance between God and us. Our prayers are being hindered. We're wondering, why isn't God hearing? Why aren't we hearing from God? Right? Why isn't God acting? Why isn't God doing something? Well, the Bible's it's just very clear on that. But make no mistake about it. The wages of sin is death. That's what you and I deserve. So God, a holy, a righteous God, is interacting with people who deserve death. Right? What does that look like? Right? What does it look like when you have a holy God interacting with people who have earned death? Right? So when you look around this world today and you see all these things that are happening, do you have that perspective? Right? The death that you're seeing, that is what the wages of sin earns. Take a good look at that. That's what your lifestyle, my lifestyle, our wages have earned. Little sobering thought, seeing a lot of death around us, right? That's what happens because of sin. So chew on that. We'll come back next time, right here, Nightly Nonsense.